conditions. So first is divergence of R is 3, curl of R is 0, gradient of R. Here R is a scalar function, so you are having a magnitude of this R vector. So the gradient of this R is vector R by small r. Then you have to prove the gradient of 1 by R is minus vector R by RQ. Similarly, the divergence of vector R by RQ is 0. The gradient of mod RQ is 3R unit vector R. Gradient of R dot A is A, and the gradient of FR is F dash R R cap by R. So these are the 8 relations that you have to prove for this vector R. So let's start with the first question itself. So you need to take the divergence of R. So the del operator is written as I del by del x like this, and you have to take the dot product with the vector R. So you can easily do it just taking the dot product and differentiating the corresponding terms. So you will get that each term will give you 1. So the overall result will be 3. Any doubt? If you have doubt, then unmute your mic. Otherwise, please keep your mic muted. Okay. The second question was curl of R. So you can take the curl of R using this determinant. So here I am writing I, j, k components. So the del operator will be del by del x, del by del y, and del by del z, and the R vector will be x, y, z. So you can simplify this relation, and you will get that all the differentiations will be 0. So you will get that the curl of vector R is 0. Now the third question, you have to take the gradient of R, where R is the magnitude of R vector, and magnitude of R is written as the square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So you can take the gradient, and then here I am writing R. So if you take the gradient of R, so it will be del by del x of R I cap plus del R by del y j cap plus del R by del z k cap. And now you can differentiate R with respect to x, y, and z respectively. So for each differentiation, suppose you are differentiating R with respect to x, you will get half term due to this power term. Actually, I am using this formula that differentiation of some polynomial x to the power n is actually n times x to the power n minus 1. So this n is coming outside, and then it will be x to the power n minus 1, that is half minus 1. So you are having a x square plus y square plus z square to the power minus half. Then you will differentiate this whole term also with respect to x. So the differentiation of x square will be 2x, and the differentiation of y square and z square with respect to x will be 0, as you are taking partial differentiation. Similarly, for the rest of the term, j cap and k cap components also, you will only have 2y for the j cap component and 2z for the k cap component. You can cancel this lower half with the 2 in all the terms. Then you will obtain x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. That is nothing but R vector. And also this x square plus y square plus z square to the power minus half is actually R to the power R square to the power minus half, that is 1 by R. So this gradient of R is, you have to remember this relation also. So the gradient of R is vector R by R. And we are going to use this relation multiple times in this discussion. Okay. Let's move to the fourth question. In the fourth question, you have to take the gradient of 1 by R. So you can easily write this like 1 by R is nothing but R to the power minus 1. So you are taking the gradient of R to the power minus 1. So minus 1 will come outside, and then you will have R to the power minus 1 using the similar formula. That is x to the power n is n times x to the power n minus 1. So it will give you minus 1 by R square. And then you have to take the gradient of R. And gradient of R, as we have already derived in the previous question, it will be vector R by R. So you can put this value. So the gradient of 1 by R will be minus R vector by R cube. Fifth question is, you have to take the divergence of vector R by R cube. So vector r is actually xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. If you take the divergence, so you will have the terms like derivative of x by r cube with respect to x, then derivative of y by r cube with respect to y, and derivative of z by r cube with respect to z. That you can use using the quotient rule. Okay, let me use a empty slide because it is not allowing me to write. Okay, the quotient rule is, if you are taking some function and that is in the form of f by g, and suppose you wish to differentiate this function with respect to x, so this will be like, take the square of the denominator, keep the denominator as it is, take the differentiation of the numerator with respect to x, then negative sign, keep numerator as it is, and differentiate the denominator with respect to x. So this is the quotient rule. So I have used this relation here. So I am taking the differentiation of x by r cube. So firstly, I will square the denominator. So you are having r to the power 6 term here. Then you will keep the r cube term as it is and differentiate x with respect to x. It will be 1. So you are having a r cube term here only. Then minus, keep the numerator as it is. X is taken as it is, and you are differentiating r cube. So the differentiation of r cube will be 3r square, and then del r by del x. And similar will be there for the other terms like derivative with respect to y and derivative with respect to z. If you arrange these terms, you will see that there will be a r cube by r6 term in all the three components. So you will have 3r cube by r6 minus 3r square by r6. You can take common, and in the first term you will get x del r by del x, that is x by r. Similarly, this from here you will get y times del r by del y. Again you will get y by r, and similarly z by r. This x square, this will be y square, and this will be z square. X square plus y square plus z square you can put as r square. So from here also you will get the same term, that is 3 by r cube. So you can cancel all these terms. You will get that the divergence of this r vector by r cube is 0. Do anyone has doubt here? Okay, if there is no doubt, let's move to the next question. You have to take the gradient of vector r cube. So it is similar like taking the derivative of some x to the power n. So you will get 3r square. Then you will have the gradient of r, and gradient of r we have already calculated as r vector by r. So this is the answer. You can cancel this small r with r square. So you will have 3r r vector. G part is that you have to take the gradient of r vector dot a, where a is some constant vector. So you can assume some constant vector. Suppose a is ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap, where we are assuming that this ax, ay, and az are constants. Now, firstly, you can take the dot product of r vector with this a vector. So you will get x ax plus y ay plus z az. Now you have to take the gradient. So if you take the gradient, you have to differentiate the terms with respect to x, then I cap, plus with respect to y, then j cap, and then with respect to z, then k cap. If you differentiate this with respect to x, this term and this term will be 0 because there is no x term here. You will only obtain ax. So you are having ax I cap, and then if you differentiate with respect to y, the x term and z term will be 0. Only the y term will give you ay. So it will be ay j cap. And similar will be the case for third component k cap. So it is az k cap, and that you can easily write as a vector. So the gradient of r dot a vector is actually a vector only. The last
Hello,
part
sir.
of this first question, yes.
Sir, in question F, previous one.
Yes.
Sir, we have to prove that grad of RQ equals to 3r r cap, not r vector. So that may be mistake or
Okay, that is a mistake. Actually, this is 3r r vector. So that is
okay.
type error.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. The last part of this first question is take the gradient of fr. So if you are taking the differentiation of any function, so you will have the f dash r, that is the differentiation, and then you have to take the derivative of this r also. So I am having f dash r for this function, then the gradient of r, and gradient of r is r vector by r. So this is the final result. Okay, do anyone of you have doubt in first question? Okay, let's move to the second question. Second question is related to gradient only. You have been given a function phi, that is 2x z4 minus x square y, and you have to take the gradient of this function. So gradient, we know that if we are taking the gradient of phi, it will be del phi by del x I cap plus del phi by del y j cap plus del phi by del z k cap. So you have to differentiate this function with respect to x for I cap component, with respect to y for j cap component, and with respect to z for the k cap component. So if you are differentiating with respect to x, as this is a partial differentiation, the other variables z and y will be taken as constant. So in this case, this z to the power 4 and this y term are constant. So if you differentiate it, you will get that this will be 2z to the power 4, because the differentiation of x is 1 only, and this term will give you minus 2xy. So this is the first part. Secondly, if you are differentiating this term with respect to y, this first term will not give you anything, because this x and z are constant here, so the differentiation will be 0. From here you will get minus x square term, so you are having a minus x square j cap. The third term, if you differentiate, this x square y will not give you anything, it is 0, because they are only x and y terms, no z term is there. Here it will give you z to the power 4 differentiation is 4z to the power 3, so it will be 8x z cube. So this is the gradient of this function, and if you are asked to find the gradient at a particular point 2 minus 1, so you can put the value of x as 2, y as minus 2, and z as minus 1. If you put these values in this gradient function, you will obtain that the gradient is 10 I cap minus 4 j cap minus 16 k cap. So this is the first part of the question. Firstly, find the gradient and evaluate this value at 2, minus 2, and minus 1. And the last part is you have to find the magnitude of this gradient. So magnitude you can easily find just by squaring the ijk components. So it will be 100 plus 16 plus 256. It is the square root of 372. Okay. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's move to the third question. Third question is the function phi is also given to you, and also a vector a is given. You have to find the a dot gradient of phi and then a cross gradient of phi at a particular point 1, minus 1, 1. So firstly, let's find the gradient of this function phi. So gradient of phi, as we have already discussed, it will be given by this expression, and you can put the phi function value and differentiate corresponding terms. So the function gradient will be minus 3x square y I cap minus xq j cap plus 2k cap. And if you put this point here, so the gradient will be 3 I cap minus j cap plus 2k cap. That you have to use in calculating a dot gradient of phi or a cross gradient of phi. Similarly, this vector a at this point can also be calculated by putting the corresponding values of x, y, z. So this a vector will be 2 I cap plus 3 j cap plus k cap. Now just we have to use these two vectors to find the dot product and the cross product. So if you take the dot product, so the dot product of 2 I cap plus 3 j cap plus k cap dot 3 I minus j plus 2k. So this will give you 5 only. And similarly, if you take the curl, you can use this determinant, and by calculating the curl, you will get that the curl is this is not a curl, I am sorry, this is the cross product only. So the cross product will be 7 I cap minus j cap minus 11 k cap. I hope it is clear to all of you. Any doubt? Okay. Let's move to the fourth question. In the fourth question, suppose f is a differentiable function and it is a function of x, y, z, and t. These are the 4 variables. So you have to prove that the differentiation of this function f with the t is del f by del t plus gradient of f dot dr by dt. So you have to differentiate these two types of differentiation here. This is a complete differentiation and this is a partial differentiation. So to prove this relation, what we can do, we are differentiating this function f with respect to time, but this f is a function of 4 different variables. So firstly, what will we do? We will differentiate this function partially with respect to x, then take the complete derivative of x with respect to t, then take the partial derivative with respect to y and complete derivative with respect to y. Similarly, you will do it for z and t also. As you know, dt by dt is 1 only, so it will give you del f by del t. And from here, if you visualize these three terms, you will see this, that the del f by del x or del f by del y and del f by del z is actually coming due to the gradient of f. So these three terms can be considered as gradient of f, and this del x by del t or del y by del t or del z by del t will come if you take the derivative of this r vector. So actually this is a dot product of gradient of f and the derivative of r with respect to t. So this three terms can be combined as gradient of f dot dr by dt. So this overall result will be the complete derivative of f with t is gradient of f dot dr by dt plus del f by del t. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The fifth question is, you have to find a perpendicular to the surface of a paraboloid of revolution. So paraboloid is given is as z equal to x square plus y square, and you have to find this unit vector at point 125. So if you draw this curve, it will be look like this. Here I am having a z axis. So what we can assume, suppose a function is x square plus y square minus z, and you are calculating the, suppose the point is here, so you are calculating the normal vector in this direction. So actually normal vector to a particular surface is given by the gradient of that function. So if you take the gradient of any function, it will give you the normal vector. So for this curve, you can simply calculate the gradient. It will be del phi by del x I cap, and like that. If you take the derivative with respect to x, y, and z, the gradient of phi will be 2x I cap plus 2y j cap minus k cap. And as you are calculating this normal vector at this point, you can put these values. So your normal vector will be 2 I cap plus 4 j cap minus k cap. And you have been asked the unit vector. So the unit vector is actually the vector, and you are dividing this vector with its magnitude, because the direction will be the same, but thus the magnitude should be 1. To keep the magnitude 1, we are dividing this with the magnitude of the vector. So this will be your normal unit vector, that is 2 I cap plus 4 j cap minus k cap, and you are dividing this by a square root of 21. Let's move to the next question.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Any doubt here?
Question. Yes, sir. Sir, fifth question.
Fifth question.
Yes, sir. सर इसमें से हमने जो पाई है वो x स्क्वायर प्लस y स्क्वायर माइनस जेड जो अज्यूम किया है सर, इसकी जगह पे सर जेड माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस वाई स्क्वायर अज्यूम करेंगे तो सर डायरेक्शन अपनी रहेगी सर, उससे कोई
वेक्टर की डायरेक्शन जस्ट अपोजिट होगी, लेकिन वेक्टर सेम ही रहेगा. इट विल नॉट अफेक्ट द यूनिट वेक्टर, इट विल जस्ट फ्लिप द डायरेक्शन.
सर
यस
सर यहाँ प्लस माइनस दोनों ले सकते हैं ना?
Yes, we can take both. If I am finding a normal vector in this direction, you will write this equation like this. Or if you wish to find the normal vector inside the paraboloid, then you can take the reverse of this. The vector will be same, only the direction will change. And normally we find the unit vector that is going outside the surface. Suppose this is your sphere and you want to find the normal vector here. So you will find it going outside the surface. So is it fine? Any doubt? Still any doubt here?
तो सर वो
It's
पता ही
fine,
नहीं
sir.
चलेगा जैसे कैसे करने पे जो आउटसाइड डायरेक्शन है वही
Please repeat.
सर जैसे हमने यहाँ एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस वाई स्क्वायर माइनस जेड किया है
हाँ.
तो सर वो पता कैसे चलेगा कि सर जो आउटसाइड डायरेक्शन है वो इसी से है या उससे है जेड माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस वाई स्क्वायर
Okay. That you can easily find. Suppose this is your function phi. You take some point that is outside, that is not inside this curve. Suppose I am taking a point here on the xy plane. So this point is 0 as we know. So let me assume that there is some point 1, 1, 0. Okay. This point is not lying on this curve because this will not satisfy the equation. So if you put this point in this equation and if it is giving you positive, it means you are outside the plane, and if it is giving you negative, it means you are inside the plane. So this 1, 1, 0, if you put in phi function, it will be giving you 2. So you are outside the plane. And if you suppose I am assuming some point here, this is on the z axis, and let's assume the point is 0, 0, 2. Okay, it is not allowing me to write. Okay, suppose the point is 0, 0, 2. If you put this point in this equation, it will give you negative of 2. It means this point is inside the parabola. So this way you can find whether the vector is going outside or inside.
Or if you want to check whether the vector that you have obtained is outside or inside, that is also an easy way to do. You put z equal to 0. Now z equal to 0, you should get what? Outward vector should be along minus k cap, and the inward vector should be along k cap. So that will distinguish what sign to choose.
Okay. Okay. Let's discuss the next question. In this question, we have to find the x, y, and z components of these expressions. Firstly, we have to expand these expressions and find the respective components. So the first question is a dot gradient of a. So here a is a vector, and you are taking, if you consider this term, so you can take the a and dot gradient, this del operator. So it will be ax del by del x plus ay del by del y plus az del by del z, and then you are multiplying this, operating this overall term with vector a. So if you assume this term as f, some small f, so the x component will be actually f time the x component of this vector a. So this f ax will be the x component, f ay will be the y component, and f az will be the z component. Similarly, for the second question, it is given that z cap cross gradient of phi, and you have to find the respective components. Firstly, we can expand this term. So this gradient of phi will be given by this expression, and you are taking cross product with z. So if you take the cross product, the z cap cross z will give you 0. So this term will not exist. Z cap cross x, if you do, it will give you y cap, and z cap cross y cap, if you do, it will give you minus of x cap. So this is this negative of del phi by del x is the x component, negative of del phi by del y is the x component, del phi by del x is the y component, and there is no z component, so the z component is 0. Last part of this question is del square vector a. Del square operator is given by this expression, and the vector is suppose vector is given by this expression. So this del square is being operated at 3. If you operate this del square at ax component, it will this ax, you will give the x component of this expression, and if you operate this del square on ay, it will give you y component, and similarly operating it on az, it will give you Z component. So these are the three components. Any doubt here? Okay. Let's discuss the seventh question. Here vector A is given to you and you have to evaluate this linear line integration A dot dr, and this curve C is along the path x equals to t, y equals to t squared, z equals to tq, and you are moving from point, suppose this is the point A and this is the point B. You are moving from point A to point B. So suppose this is your point A somewhere, and here you are having the point B. And you are moving from point A to point B. So this is your curve C, and your path is given to you. Path is given by this expression. So what we can do? Firstly, we can find this vector A in terms of t only by putting these values. So this A vector will be, if you put these values of x as t, y as t square, and z at tq, you will obtain 9t square I cap minus 14 t5 j cap plus 20 t to the power 7 k cap. This will be your A operator. Similarly, if you find this dr vector, so the dr vector is given by dx I cap plus dy j cap plus dz k cap. You can find this dr operator, dr vector in terms of time dt just by taking dx will be dt, dy will be 2t dt, and dz will be 3t square dt. So it will be your dr vector. So you can take the dot product of this vector A with this dr, and you have to integrate as your x is going from 0 to 1, y is also going from 0 to 1. All the variables are going from 0 to 1. If you put these values here, you can see that the t variable will also go from 0 to 1. So the limit will be from 0 to 1, and you can take the dot product here. So this integration along the curve C, A dot dr can be written as 0 to 1. This expression times dt means you are integrating only with the variable dt here now. So you can integrate this using the formula. Suppose I am integrating some function x to the power n with some with dx only. So it will give you n x to the power n plus 1, and you are dividing this with n plus 1 plus some constant c. So using this formula, you will see that the integration of t square will be tq by 3, t to the power 6 will be to the power 7 by 7, and t to the power 9 will be t to the power 10 by 10. So now you will obtain this integration as this, and the lower limit is 0 here and upper limit is 1 here. You can put the upper limit first and then negative sign the lower limit. Suppose I am assuming, suppose this function is ft. So you are having ft limits from 0 to 1. So this limit will be f1 minus f0 that I have used here. So you will obtain this result as 5. Any doubt in this question?
Okay.
Okay. This is the 8th question. You have to prove that there was some error in this question. This phi is actually psi. So you have to prove that this triple integration or the volume integration of phi del square psi minus psi del square phi dv is actually equal to surface integration of phi gradient of psi minus psi gradient of phi ds. So this hint is also given to you. You can use the divergence theorem, and divergence theorem is given as surface integration can be converted to the volume integration. So if you convert this A vector, instead of A vector, you will use the divergence of vector A. So suppose this is your surface integration, and assume that this first function is this first term is A vector, and the second term is suppose B vector. So you are having A minus B vector. So if you use the divergence theorem, you will have to find, you will write this in terms of divergence of A. So you have to take the divergence of A and divergence of B also. So divergence of A you can write as divergence of phi grade psi and that you can use. Here we can use the product rule. The product rule is, suppose, okay, let me use the blank slide. Product rule is, suppose you are taking the gradient of a function fg, where f and g are two different functions. So they are the product of two. So what we can do, we can keep the first function as it is, take the gradient of second function, and keep the second function as it is, take the gradient of the first function. So that we can use here. You are taking the divergence of this overall function. Firstly, what we can do, we can keep the phi as outside. You will take the divergence of gradient of psi. It will be del square psi. Then you can operate this del operator on phi only. So it will be the gradient of phi dot grad psi. So this will be your divergence of A. Similarly, you can find the divergence of B also. This will be given by this expression. And now you have to just this surface integration, this overall surface integration now will be equal to the divergence of A minus B, and A minus B you already calculated that the divergence of A and divergence of B you know. You can just subtract these two values. This term and this term will cancel each other because A dot B or B dot A is similar. So you will obtain this final result. Any doubt here? Okay, if there is no doubt, we can move to the next question. In this question, we have been given certain figures and we have to find whether the sign of divergence and curl will be negative, positive, or it will be zero. That we have to find. And suppose I'm writing the divergence of, these are some vector A, let's assume I'm writing the divergence of A by this color, this orange color, and I am circling this, and this curl I am writing by this blue color, and I am taking the square bracket, this bracket. So first, in the first figure, if you see, the field lines are coming towards a central point. So in this case, the divergence will be negative. So I'm writing negative here, and there is no rotation here. So you can see that say that the curl will be zero in this case. And this second case is just opposite to the first case. So you will see that the divergence will be positive here. Curl will also remain zero also here. In this C figure, if you consider some region, suppose I am assuming some region here. So you can see that the number of field lines coming inside this region and the number of field lines going outside the region are same. So there is no net flux coming inside or outside. So you can say that the divergence will be zero in this case. In the D figure, you will see there is no divergence in the D and E figure, but there is a rotation you can see. So if the rotation if you curl your fingers and your thumb is coming towards you, so you will say that the curl is positive. And if you curl the fingers and the thumb is going inside the plane, then you will say that the curl is negative. So in this figure, curl is positive, and in this figure has the curl negative.